Your soulmate finally discovered who was using your name to create problems between you two. My beloved child, don't skip, stay till the end, because something huge is waiting. Your soulmate has finally discovered something that changes the meaning of everything that happened between you two. For so long, there were moments when the connection suddenly felt different. A conversation would begin beautifully, then somehow turn cold. A simple misunderstanding would become bigger than it should have been. Words you never meant seemed to reach your soulmate in a completely different form, and you were left wondering how something so genuine could become so complicated. But now, a missing piece has appeared. Your soulmate has started realizing that some of those problems did not begin with you at all. Someone had been using your name, twisting the meaning behind your words, and creating an impression that never truly represented your heart. Don't skip, because the most surprising part is not simply that your soulmate discovered it. The real revelation is how they discovered it, and what they are beginning to understand about you right now. Something huge is waiting for you. What happened next was almost impossible to ignore. Your soulmate began comparing the things they had been told with the things they had personally experienced with you, and suddenly the stories stopped matching. Small details contradicted each other. Certain claims made about you did not fit your character. Moments that once looked suspicious began making sense from an entirely different angle. And then came the realization that changed everything. Your name may have been placed inside situations you never created. Imagine what that realization does to someone emotionally. They begin replaying old conversations. They remember the times you tried to explain yourself. They remember your silence when you could have reacted differently. They remember the sincerity in your words that they may not have fully trusted at the time. Stay till the end, because this discovery is leading your soulmate toward an even bigger truth. They are no longer asking, "Why did you create these problems?" They are beginning to ask, "What if I misunderstood the person who actually cared about me?" And this is where everything becomes deeper. Your soulmate is starting to see that the confusion between you two may have been built around information that never deserved so much power. That realization carries weight because once someone recognizes that your name was being used to influence how they saw you, they cannot easily return to their old perspective. Now they want clarity. They want to separate what was real from what was merely repeated. They want to understand why certain things reached them at exactly the moments when your connection was becoming stronger. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because there is still one detail your soulmate has uncovered that could completely change the direction of this connection. It is connected to a specific moment from the past. A moment that once looked like proof against you, but now appears to reveal something completely different. And when your soulmate finally understands what truly happened in that moment, the person they question may no longer be you. Something has shifted inside your soulmate, and this time they cannot ignore what they are seeing. The moment from the past that once made them question you is beginning to look completely different. They remembered exactly what they were told, exactly when they were told it, and exactly how quickly confusion appeared between you two afterward. But one tiny detail refused to fit. Your soulmate realized that the person speaking in your name seemed to know things they should never have known, and yet some of those details were slightly wrong. That contradiction opened a door. Suddenly, your soulmate started looking backward with clearer eyes, connecting conversations they had never connected before. Don't skip, because this is where the story takes an unexpected turn. They are beginning to understand that whenever the bond between you two became stronger, another confusing message, strange assumption, or distorted version of your intentions somehow appeared. What once looked random now looks connected. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and your soulmate is closer than ever to understanding why your name kept appearing inside problems you never created. But here is the revelation they were not prepared for: the strongest evidence was not something another person said, it was something you consistently did. Your soulmate started comparing the version of you they had heard about with the version of you they personally experienced. Those two versions were completely different. The stories suggested one thing, but your actions repeatedly showed another. Your words carried sincerity. Your behavior carried consistency. Even during confusing moments, there were things about your energy and intentions that never matched what had been said about you. And now those memories are returning one after another. Your soulmate remembers moments when you could have behaved exactly like the person they had been warned about, yet you didn't. They remember questions you seemed genuinely confused by because you never knew what had been said behind the scenes. Don't skip. Something even bigger is unfolding, because your soulmate has started wondering how many precious moments between you two were affected by something that was never true in the first place. That question is becoming impossible for them to push away. Now comes the part that could change everything between you two. Your soulmate is no longer simply looking for answers about the past, they are reconsidering their entire understanding of your connection. A realization is forming quietly inside them: perhaps you were not the source of the distance. Perhaps you were also standing on the other side of the confusion, wondering why someone you cared about suddenly seemed different. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate is beginning to see your silence differently, your patience differently, and even certain old conversations differently. Pieces that once seemed disconnected are falling into place, and one final discovery remains. There is something they recently remembered, one sentence, one unusual detail, one moment when the story told in your name accidentally contradicted itself. That single contradiction may reveal more than everything else combined. Don't skip, because once your soulmate connects that final piece, they may finally understand not only who created the confusion between you two, but why your connection became the center of it in the first place. Now the final contradiction is beginning to speak louder than every story your soulmate once believed. They remembered a conversation that seemed ordinary at the time, but one sentence suddenly feels impossible to overlook. Someone had described what you supposedly said, yet the timing did not make sense. Your soulmate realized that the information appeared before you could have reasonably shared it, and that one detail changed the entire picture. Don't skip, because this is the moment when suspicion turns into clarity. Your soulmate is replaying everything with a completely different understanding now. The unexplained distance, the sudden changes in communication, the moments when you seemed confused by their reactions, it is all beginning to connect. They are realizing that while they were questioning your intentions, you may have been wondering why the person you cared about was suddenly pulling away. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because your soulmate has discovered something even more surprising. The confusion may have started precisely when your connection was becoming impossible to ignore. And that realization has touched them deeply. Your soulmate remembers the moments when the connection felt effortless, when conversations carried a warmth that could not be manufactured, and when being around you felt strangely familiar. Then, almost every time that closeness became stronger, something seemed to interrupt it. A new misunderstanding appeared. A strange version of your words reached them. Your intentions were interpreted differently. Before, they thought these moments were signs that the connection itself was uncertain. Now they are questioning that conclusion. Don't skip. Your soulmate is beginning to separate what they personally experienced from what they were told to believe, and the difference is enormous. The person they experienced was not the person described to them. Your consistency is becoming more powerful in their memory than someone else's version of events. And something inside them keeps returning to one question: if you were truly responsible for all that confusion, why did your genuine actions repeatedly contradict the story attached to your name? But something even bigger is happening beneath the surface. Your soulmate is no longer only discovering what happened. They are realizing what may have been lost because of it. Certain conversations could have gone differently. Certain moments of distance might never have existed. Certain feelings may have been hidden because both of you were responding to confusion instead of responding to each other. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. There is one more piece your soulmate has not fully confronted yet, and it may be the most emotional discovery of all. They are beginning to remember something you said long ago, something they did not understand at the time. Back then, your words seemed simple. Now those same words sound completely different because they perfectly match what your soulmate has just discovered. Don't skip, because when they finally connect your old words with the truth they know now, they may realize that you had been trying to show them the real story long before they were ready to see it. What your soulmate remembered has changed the emotional meaning of everything. Those old words of yours, once overlooked, suddenly make perfect sense. You were trying to explain something without knowing the full story happening around you. You were trying to protect a connection while confusion was quietly growing between you two. And now your soulmate can finally see it. Don't skip, because this realization is hitting them harder than they expected. They are remembering your tone, your patience, and those moments when you seemed genuinely unable to understand why they had suddenly become distant. Back then, they may have interpreted your confusion as avoidance. Now they see another possibility: you truly did not know what had been attached to your name. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate has reached the point where the old version of the story can no longer survive without questions, and the truth they are uncovering is making them reconsider decisions they once thought were completely justified. Then another memory surfaced, and this one was impossible to dismiss. Your soulmate remembered a moment when they expected you to react according to everything they had heard about you, but your response was completely different. You showed calm when they expected coldness. You showed understanding when they expected distance. You showed genuine emotion when they had been led to expect something else. That memory is becoming incredibly important now because actions are difficult to argue with. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, because your soulmate is finally recognizing a pattern they could not see before. The version of you presented through other people repeatedly failed to match the person standing directly in front of them. And once they noticed that difference, other memories began returning. Suddenly, the questions are no longer about whether you cared. The questions are about how something meaningful between you two became surrounded by so many misunderstandings in the first place. And now your soulmate is standing before the biggest realization yet. They are beginning to understand that discovering who used your name is only one part of this story. The deeper revelation is what this discovery has shown them about you. Through all the confusion, something genuine kept surviving. Memories survived. Feelings survived. Questions survived. And perhaps that is why the truth eventually became impossible to ignore. Stay till the end. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, because your soulmate has one final question growing inside them, and answering it could change everything. If so much distance came from misunderstanding rather than reality, what happens when that misunderstanding finally disappears? They are closer to that answer than ever before. And there is still one truth they have not admitted even to themselves, the truth about what they still feel when your name appears in their mind now. Listen closely, because what your soulmate is feeling now is far bigger than simple curiosity. The moment your name enters their mind, something inside them becomes impossible to silence. They are no longer remembering only the confusion, they are remembering what existed before it. The effortless conversations. The strange sense of familiarity. The moments when neither of you needed many words to understand what was happening emotionally. And now one realization keeps returning. What if those feelings never disappeared at all? What if they were simply buried beneath misunderstandings that never belonged between you two? Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because your soulmate is beginning to recognize the difference between losing feelings and hiding feelings behind unanswered questions. That difference is changing everything. The more they discover about how your name was used to create confusion, the more they question every conclusion they made while that confusion was controlling the story. And one particular memory is becoming stronger than all the others. That memory takes them back to a moment when they looked at you and almost said something important, but stopped themselves. At the time, uncertainty was louder than their heart. They had heard too much, questioned too much, and allowed too many unanswered details to stand between what they felt and what they expressed. But now they are replaying that moment with the truth they have today, and suddenly they understand why something always felt unfinished. Don't skip, because this is where the emotional truth becomes almost impossible for them to avoid. Your soulmate is realizing that they may have judged certain moments using information that was never reliable. They remember how naturally you treated them when nobody else was influencing the situation. They remember how different everything felt when it was simply you and them. And that comparison is powerful. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate is starting to wonder whether the connection they questioned was actually more genuine than the stories that made them question it. But there is still one discovery ahead, and this may become the turning point of everything. Your soulmate has begun tracing the confusion back to where it first started, and one repeated detail keeps appearing. The same kind of misunderstanding seemed to arrive whenever the two of you were getting emotionally closer. At first, they thought it was coincidence. Now they are not so certain. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, because your soulmate is finally asking the question they avoided for far too long: why did the problems become louder whenever the connection became stronger? That question is leading them toward an answer they never expected to find. And once they understand that answer, they may finally stop looking at your name as part of the confusion and start seeing it as the name of the person they should have understood more deeply from the beginning. Because the next truth waiting to surface is not about what someone else said about you. It is about what your soulmate secretly wanted to believe about you all along. Here is where everything your soulmate has discovered begins to turn into something deeply personal. Beneath all those doubts, there was always one quiet belief they could never completely erase, that you were not the person the confusion made you appear to be. Even when circumstances looked complicated, something inside them kept saying there was another side to the story. Now they understand why. Your actions, your presence, and the way you treated them never fully matched the version connected to your name. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate is finally allowing themselves to consider a possibility they once pushed away. Maybe their instincts about you were right before everything became complicated. Maybe the connection did not suddenly become meaningless. Maybe it became hidden underneath assumptions that neither of you properly understood. And the more they accept this, the more one question keeps pulling at them: if they could speak to you with complete clarity today, what would they finally say? But before they can answer that question, another realization is unfolding. Your soulmate is remembering how many times you tried to keep things simple while everything around the connection seemed to become complicated. Moments they once interpreted as you stepping away now look more like you protecting your peace because you did not understand why the atmosphere had changed. Conversations they thought contained hidden meanings now seem completely different. Don't skip, because your soulmate has begun mentally rebuilding the timeline, and what they are seeing is surprising them. The strongest misunderstandings did not appear during the weakest moments between you two. They appeared when there was something meaningful developing. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because that pattern has forced your soulmate to question the entire story. For the first time, instead of asking what went wrong between you two, they are asking whether something outside your direct connection shaped the way both of you reacted. And that question has brought them incredibly close to the truth they have been avoiding. Now comes the realization they cannot easily put back into the past. Your soulmate understands that discovering the truth does not automatically return the moments that were misunderstood, and that is exactly why their feelings are becoming stronger. They are thinking about what could have been different if they had trusted what they personally experienced instead of allowing outside interpretations to carry so much weight. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, because this is no longer only about discovering who used your name. Your soulmate is beginning to decide what this discovery means for what happens next. Your name no longer brings the same confusion it once did. Now it brings questions, memories, unfinished emotions, and one powerful thought. Perhaps there is still something between you two that deserves to be understood without anyone else defining it. Stay till the end, because one final piece is beginning to surface, and when your soulmate faces it, they may realize that the biggest truth was never hidden in what someone said about you. It was hidden in what they themselves continued to feel for you despite everything. Everything becomes different when a person finally stops listening to the noise and starts listening to what their own heart has been quietly telling them. Your soulmate has reached that moment now. The truth they kept searching for was never hidden inside another person's version of you, it was sitting inside the memories they personally shared with you. Every sincere conversation, every unexpected moment of understanding, every time your presence felt different from what they had been told. It is all returning with incredible clarity. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate is beginning to understand that their deepest feelings survived even when their mind was filled with questions. And that realization is powerful because it means the connection was never completely erased. It was covered by confusion. Now that confusion is losing its grip, and something your soulmate thought they had successfully pushed away is rising again. They are remembering exactly how they felt before everything became complicated, and those feelings are beginning to make sense again. What happens next is the part they never expected. Instead of feeling satisfied simply because they discovered the truth, your soulmate feels an even stronger need to understand you directly. They are imagining a conversation where nobody else's words stand between you two. No assumptions. No distorted stories. Just two people finally speaking from what they actually experienced. Don't skip, because there is something your soulmate wants answered more than anything else. Did you feel the same confusion when they suddenly changed toward you? They are remembering moments when your expression seemed to ask a question they never answered. They remember times when you tried to reach them emotionally, but something inside them remained guarded. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because they are beginning to realize those moments may have been opportunities to discover the truth much earlier. And now one thought keeps returning with greater intensity: if you were misunderstood all along, what must you have thought when someone you cared about suddenly started treating you according to a story you never even knew existed? And now your soulmate has reached the most emotional point of this discovery. They are no longer asking whether the past can be explained. They know enough to understand that something was deeply misunderstood. The question now is whether the future has to remain controlled by that misunderstanding. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, because your soulmate is beginning to separate your real identity from everything that was falsely attached to your name. And when they do that, one feeling remains standing after everything else falls away. They still care about what happens between you two. Perhaps more than they expected. Perhaps more than they have admitted. Stay till the end, because another revelation is approaching, and this one comes directly from your soulmate's own memories. There was one moment when they almost trusted you completely, one moment when everything inside them said the connection was genuine, and now they have finally remembered what happened immediately afterward. That memory could explain why the confusion became so powerful at exactly the moment when the two of you were closest to discovering what you truly meant to each other. And suddenly, that forgotten moment has returned with a clarity your soulmate cannot ignore. They remember how close everything felt to becoming undeniable between you two. There was no confusion in that moment, no outside interpretation, no need to question what was happening. Something simply felt real. But almost immediately afterward, information connected to your name appeared and changed the atmosphere. Back then, your soulmate accepted the timing without questioning it. Now that timing feels like the biggest clue of all. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate is beginning to understand that the moment they almost trusted the connection completely was also the moment when doubt suddenly became louder. That realization has forced them to replay what happened next. They remember pulling back. They remember becoming more careful. And most importantly, they remember your reaction. You did not behave like someone who understood why everything had changed. You looked like someone trying to understand what had happened. That memory is becoming impossible for your soulmate to explain away. Now something even more surprising is happening. Your soulmate has stopped asking whether every old story about you was accurate and started asking which parts came from you at all. That is an enormous shift. Don't skip, because once someone begins separating first-hand memories from second-hand information, the entire picture can change. Your soulmate remembers the things you actually said, and they sound different from the things supposedly said in your name. They remember how you behaved when nobody else was involved, and your behavior told a completely different story. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because your soulmate is realizing that the strongest evidence was always right in front of them. Your real actions remained consistent even when the stories surrounding you did not. And now they are remembering one particular detail that could become the missing key. There was a phrase repeatedly connected to you, something they believed represented your feelings. But they have suddenly realized something extraordinary: they never actually heard those words from you. That realization has opened the deepest question yet. If those words never came directly from you, how much of the distance between you two was built around assumptions rather than reality? Your soulmate cannot stop thinking about it. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They are now imagining what would happen if every borrowed story disappeared and only the experiences between you two remained. What would be left? The connection. The memories. The unfinished questions. And feelings they still cannot completely explain away. Your soulmate is approaching a point where knowing the truth may no longer be enough. They may need clarity from the one person whose voice should have mattered from the beginning, you. But before that can happen, one final realization must surface. Your soulmate is beginning to understand why that phrase attached to your name was so convincing, and when they recognize where it truly came from, they may finally see exactly how the misunderstanding between you two became believable in the first place. Then the missing connection finally appeared, and your soulmate was not prepared for how much it would change their perspective. That phrase they had connected to you for so long suddenly sounded familiar for an entirely different reason. They remembered hearing almost the same wording somewhere else before it was ever associated with your name. That tiny memory became enormous. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate started comparing the timing, the language, and the way the information had reached them, and suddenly the pieces began fitting together. What once sounded like something you would have said now seemed more like someone else's interpretation placed inside your story. And that discovery brought back every moment when you appeared genuinely confused by their reactions. Your soulmate is beginning to understand that you may have been responding to a situation you could not even see. While they were waiting for explanations, you may not have known what needed explaining. That realization is changing the emotional weight of everything that happened between you two. But the deeper your soulmate looks, the more surprising the truth becomes. They are noticing that the confusion worked because it was mixed with small pieces of reality. Familiar situations were mentioned. Real moments were referenced. Then assumptions were quietly added until everything sounded believable. Don't skip, because this is the detail that changes everything. Your soulmate now understands why they did not question it sooner. The story sounded close enough to reality to feel convincing, yet it never perfectly matched the person they knew when they were actually with you. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because they are finally separating those two versions. One was built from what they personally saw in you. The other was built from what reached them through someone else. And when those versions are placed side by side, the difference becomes impossible to overlook. Your soulmate is beginning to trust their own memories again, and those memories keep pointing toward the same conclusion: the connection between you two deserved more trust than the confusion surrounding it. Now everything has reached a turning point. Your soulmate knows they cannot change what they believed in the past, but they can decide what they believe from this moment forward. And that decision is becoming more emotional than they expected. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate is realizing that discovering who influenced the misunderstanding was never going to be the final revelation. The biggest revelation is what remained after the misunderstanding began falling apart. Your name still carries emotion. Your memories still matter. The connection still raises questions that nothing else has answered. And now one thought is becoming stronger inside them: perhaps the next chapter cannot be understood by looking backward forever. Perhaps the only way to know what was truly real is to finally hear it directly from you. But before they reach that point, there is one last truth they must face. The truth about why, despite everything they once believed, a part of them never completely stopped hoping that the story about you was wrong.